Hey guys, I think there's a misconception in the church and among people with religious minds that, and maybe not even in the church, even, I don't know, people who believe in like karma and stuff, like all those things, whatever is considered a belief system to me is considered like your religion. So, um, I think there's a misconception that God doesn't bless a mess or God doesn't, if you do evil things, that God doesn't bless you. No, I think the Bible says that God rains on the just and the unjust. um yeah, basically people think that like if you're like a bad person doing bad things, that God ain't gonna bless you, like with and by what they're saying, I feel like they mean that God ain't gonna bless you with like things and money, and you're not gonna have like a good prosperous life or whatever, which I totally think is not true. And I believe that people um, who have negative intentions and things like that, or people who we don't consider like good people, like can definitely get rich. They can definitely have money. They can definitely live in what some would consider an outer blessed way. And I think that they can simply have that and simply live like that just because they believe they can. They believe they can, so they do. And I think people get upset because, like, some people don't use their money for good things and stuff like that, And of course, like, nobody wants anyone to use their money for, like, bad and or wicked or evil things, you know what I'm saying? But to tell people that God don't bless, it's not even that, like, it's based on what you believe. Like, how many times does the Bible have to say it, that it's according to your belief what you receive? So yeah, people who do bad things can have money and they can be living it up while you're sitting there, good person, and you're poor. You know what I'm saying? You're barely making ends meet. And you're saying stuff like, well, God don't. No. I don't think that's how it works. You're not sitting there being a good and terrible person and then being blessed for being a good person. How many times does the Bible actually show the opposite of that? You know what I'm saying? And then the righteous or like good person or good brother or religious people who think they're good get upset because like someone who's not seen as good is being blessed. I don't know. I don't think it works like that. Like how, some people think like you could be as good as you want and be poor and then be like, well, why me? Why doesn't God bless me? There's all these awful people out there and they're rich and they got this and that. Well, look at how you're talking. Look at how you're talking. If you're hating on people for being rich, then that means you don't want that means that you're jealous. Because you don't believe that you can have that. So if you haven't given it to yourself and you don't believe you can have it, why would you have it? Because you're hating on it, right? I don't know. I think there's like a fear of money too, because I've been thinking about like my own limiting beliefs about money, and actually one came to me this morning when I got up out of nowhere, and I was like glad that it came because I hate introspective questions, because I feel like with introspective questions, when like you're reading a book and it's asking you, what do you believe about money? What did you learn about money growing up? What ideas did you take in that you didn't even realize? And it's just like, I hate those questions because I actually have to sit there and think, right? Like I have to think about myself. But really, you take in the question, you ponder it, right? Like you meditate on it, you sit quietly with yourself and you read the question and you kind of just allow your heart to answer you. And sometimes it doesn't happen like immediately, like Give me the answers, heart, you know? Sometimes, or a lot of times, stuff just comes to you out of nowhere, and you're like, yes, that's it right there. So that kind of happened to me this morning, and it was just a thought that thinking about money is dumb and superficial, right? I was like, wow, I didn't know I thought that on the inside. Like, yeah, like it's kind of like a block for me. Like, oh, thinking about money or reading about money, being preoccupied with the topic of money is dumb. It's superficial. You're worshiping money, you know. And money is just a resource. Money is a resource, meant to be used and saved, invested. Right? I mean, it's just meant for those purposes, just like any other resource. So, and it's not dumb. It's not superficial, because that's the way that our system has chosen to mostly operate by, is this cash money thing, and other resources and stuff like that too. So yeah, like when people say like God don't bless no mess, like don't expect nothing from God if you ain't acting right, it's just like, no, like maybe don't expect nothing from God if you ain't believing right. Like that's probably more true. And yes, our actions do stem from what we believe, but yeah, it's clear that God isn't just sitting there saying, no, you've been a bad girl today, so you can't have money, or you can't have the blessings, or whatever. In fact, the Bible says that you've already been blessed with all things, right? With all blessings. And repeatedly tells us that we need to believe in order to receive. You can't put the cart before the horse. You're not going to, you have to believe within, at least, believe something is possible and say yes to it. And then, yeah. So anyways, and that right to believe is implanted in everyone, unfortunately, right? Like people don't like that. People don't like that. They don't like that. They don't like that bad people can be successful, or people who do bad things. But hey, here's a solution. If more good people stop acting like they don't care about money, if more good people stop being poor, then maybe the tides will like shift and turn, right? If good people stop acting like being poor is being humble, then that could help to change things. So good people actually believing that they're worthy of money, they're worthy to just have plenty of money. They're worthy of having more money than they know what to do with. Then, that could be a good solution, right?